There's so many types of tea out there, but which do you choose? Let's talk about it. What's going on, everybody? Dave K here. Today it's time for something you've been waiting for, the long requested tea review. Today I'm going to give you a tea review, an herbal tea review. I'm going to dive into a couple of green teas and black teas here today as well. Talk you through a few of my favorites, some of the differences of some different types of herbal tea, and just give you a general overview of some of these teas that I like and some of the different benefits of different types of teas, some of the differences between some of them. I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments in the comments below. Make sure you let me know what you think of this video, and if you like it, make sure you give me that thumbs up to let me know that you enjoy this video. Looking forward to sharing this adventure with you here today. Let's get started. And of course, you can't truly tea review without drinking tea, right? So you can hear, I'm still recovering with my voice a bit here too. This is the Mango Passion Fruit Tea by Stash here, trying this one. Definitely a unique flavor to it. I do like this one. I could see myself getting it again and drinking it more in the future, but it's definitely got a very unique taste with those two flavors. And I'm going to dive a little bit into that here as well with some of the differences between some of the different brands and how unique some of the flavors are and how some of those different flavors go together and what you can find in terms of more mild teas or more unique teas, depending upon what you're looking for. So let's get to it. Tea is always a great way to soothe the throat as you're making a video, an added bonus to teas and their deliciousness. So let me get started with a general herbal tea review here today. Herbal tea is the type of tea I drink the most often, and there's a couple of different reasons for that. Number one reason is herbal tea has no caffeine. So I try to only drink caffeine really first thing in the morning. So if I'm having a green tea or a black tea, I try to just have that first thing in the morning, and the rest of the day I like to drink herbal teas. So this herbal tea review is going to dive into some of the different types of herbal teas that I drink, some of the differences in some of the brands and some of the different flavors and different varieties you can get in herbal tea, and just my overall thoughts on those herbal teas. So let's get to it. Getting you started here with a classic for me, the Celestial Seasonings tea brand. Definitely have had a lot of different flavors with this one. They make fruity flavors. They make more of a minty, leafy flavor. They do have a lot of herbal teas, and you'll see they also have some green teas and other tea varieties as well. But again, focusing on herbal teas here. So you see it says herbal tea caffeine free, and you'll find that unless otherwise specified, most herbal teas should be caffeine free. That's why it's an herbal tea. They should all really be caffeine free. But regardless, this peach passion, I do like this. If you like a peach flavor, it does have a good flavor to it. Something else I observe about tea bags, and I don't know if you look for this sort of thing, is like the reusability of the tea bag. And I don't really feel like I can use this same tea bag a second time. I can use it once, and then I have to get a fresh one if I want some more peach passion tea. It's not the strongest peachy flavor, but it is a good, smooth peach flavor. Definitely not too sort of bitter. Some of these leaves can be a little bit bitter on the end, and this is very smooth tea, but at the same time, not overly powerful in terms of flavor. The way that I make almost all of my teas is I just put the tea bag in water, I heat up the water, and I drink it as is. I don't put in any milk or any sweetener. Now, there are some instances where I use milk, and I like to use milk in certain instances in black teas, and we'll go into that in a bit as well. But for herbal teas, especially for something like this, peach tea, I just drink it as is. I really do enjoy the flavor, the fruity flavor. Most of the time, I find that I do like to go for a fruity flavored herbal tea, and herbal tea is preferable for me in fruity flavors as opposed to those minty or leafy flavors. But at times, I do prefer the minty or leafy flavors, and we'll dive into some of those here today as well. But Celestial Seasonings, definitely a very broad brand, not too strong or bitter on the tail end, so definitely a good sort of mild place. If you're getting started in herbal teas, one you may want to consider. But this peach passion is a flavor that I like, and they've got a lot of other flavors that I like as well. There's a raspberry zinger I used to really enjoy. That's a great tea if you're looking for an herbal tea that you can really enjoy with a fruity flavor to it. And there's also a sleepy time that they have, which is a minty one, and I'm going to dive into here. I've got another tea, which is a lot like their sleepy time here at Trader Joe's. This is the Wellrested herbal tea. Again, very similar to that sleepy time from Celestial Seasonings. I feel like Trader Joe's teas are a little bit stronger. You know, I haven't tried using a tea bag here a second time, but a lot of these tea bags, you can't really get a second use out of them, sadly. I do like to do that when I get the chance, but especially some herbal teas, it's not the easiest thing to do with herbal teas. So you've got a variety of different ingredients in this one: chamomile, lemongrass, spearmint, peppermint. So if you're wondering what goes into making, as I'm saying, sort of that leafier, mintier tea, it is those sorts of ingredients: the spearmint and the peppermint and the chamomile. And they do go well together. You know, I'm not a huge fan of chamomile, although chamomile is good for that sleepy time, for that relaxing and calming tea near nighttime and as you're preparing for bed. I do like how it's blended in with the mints. I prefer mints and like spearmints and peppermints for my sort of leafier, mintier teas when I don't want a fruity herbal tea. So in terms of an herbal tea review for something that's more minty, more leafier for me, I think this is a great tea. If you're into that sort of thing, definitely Trader Joe's. You'll see it also says herbal tea, no caffeine right there on the top. This is a great one if you're looking for that, again, sort of mintier, leafier, more preparing for bed, herbal tea style. Since we've made our way to Trader Joe's teas, I also got a ginger turmeric herbal tea. There's a couple reasons I grabbed this one. First of all, ginger actually has some good health benefits in terms of digestion, and turmeric as well. There's some health benefits to that. There's a lot of different ingredients that you can get that have different health benefits, but ginger is one of those things that's really good for digestion, and I like the flavor of ginger as well, so I figured this might be a tea that I enjoy, but I feel like this one's actually a little bit bitter for me. It's not the leaves being bitter so much as maybe it's the turmeric flavor. I'm not really a huge fan of turmeric. This one's got turmeric, orange peel, licorice, orange oil, black pepper, and ginger root. So you can tell it's kind of got more of a sting to it in terms of some of those ingredients. So something to keep in mind. If you're trying to start a little bit more mild, probably want one of those other teas. But if you are a big fan of turmeric and sort of some of those spicier flavors, you may enjoy this tea. Also an herbal tea as well, so you can see I'm doing a very large herbal tea review here, going into a lot of different types of herbal teas, different brands, different flavors of herbal teas in this herbal tea review. But I definitely do enjoy some of the other flavors of herbal tea, more so than this ginger turmeric one. This is not my go-to. That being said, definitely have some friends and family who enjoy more of a bitter, sort of intense flavor there. So this one will probably be sort of sidelined for that, or let's say other families in town, that kind of thing. Make sure that that's saved for them. Not my go-to flavor for an herbal tea, but I can definitely see how some people could enjoy that as well. If you like that sort of sharper flavor to your herbal teas. And before I dive into a very specific type of herbal tea review, I want to review one more of these fruity flavors because I want to make sure I'm hitting a variety of brands here as well. So this is a Stash herbal tea. Stash herbal tea, they have a variety of flavors. So this one is strawberry pomegranate, and I haven't tried this one yet, but as I mentioned, I'm currently drinking the mango passion fruit right here. I've had the acai berry, and I have a couple of others that I still want to try in the pantry. I do like a fruity herbal tea, so I figured I'd get a variety of different flavors from Stash. Saw sort of like a 6-pack deal going on, so I went ahead and got that. And they're definitely unique. That's what it is for me. I'm noticing that the herbal teas that Stash has, especially these fruity ones, I've had some of their minty ones too, and they're good and sort of classic like a lot of other minty ones, but these fruity ones are a really interesting combination of flavors that I wouldn't normally have in a tea. So if you're interested in trying some new combinations of flavors and seeing like, oh, this is a, sort of strange, unique taste, and trying something new and branching out from some of those traditional fruity flavors of herbal tea, Stash could be a great option for you. You could enjoy these herbal teas by Stash. Haven't tried, again, this specific flavor yet, but the mango passion fruit, I will be drinking more of that one in the coming days for sure. And as I continue to taste this one, it's smooth, but it's the uniqueness in flavors that really stands out to me. I don't think I've really ever had passion fruit in any kind of tea, but it's a mango passion fruit. So it's a good combination of sort of those beachy fruits, where you feel very Hawaiian or islandy, that kind of thing. And it does have a great flavor to it. Again, I have not had a tea like this before. I'm glad I got it for that variety in there, be able to try a new type of fruity flavor. And I like to mix up my teas from time to time. So some days I'll feel like that peach passion, and some days I'll feel like a more unique fruity flavor and trying one of those new flavors. I do like to, again, for me, have a wide variety of herbal teas so that when I'm not feeling like one particular flavor, I can have a different flavor at any given time. I like to change it up. Don't like to have the same flavor all day of herbal tea. Continuing on my herbal tea review here, I want to take a deeper dive into a very specific type of herbal tea and do an herbal tea review of Rooibos tea. There's a highlight here, if you will, of Rooibos tea. I've really, really been enjoying Rooibos tea. It's really interesting. It's definitely darker and heavier for an herbal tea. That being said, I think it also has some great health benefits. Just drinking the different Rooibos tea I've had lately has really, I feel like it's had a feeling where it almost feels like it's clearing some of my, I don't want to say congestion, but almost, it's an interesting feeling. I had the same feeling when I drank water first thing in the morning for that first month that I started doing that. It almost felt like I was able to, almost like my arteries were working better. And I feel like Maybe it helps with heart health. I'm not really sure. I'll have to look into some of the nutritional impacts and effects of Rooibos. I've definitely heard it does have some very healthy attributes to it. But I love the flavor. The flavor of the Rooibos is great. Again, it's got that darker feel to it. So if you want a darker sort of flavor, almost like a black tea, without having that caffeine and still feeling sort of relaxed from the tea, definitely, I personally strongly recommend Rooibos. And there's a couple of different types of Rooibos you can get. This pumpkin spice Rooibos from Trader Joe's, this one for me is a favorite. I will definitely be getting the pumpkin spice Rooibos from Trader Joe's again in the future. It was a little bit more expensive than some of these other teas. So a lot of these other teas were $1.99 for the box, whereas this pumpkin spice Rooibos was $3.99 for the box. That being said, for me, again, I definitely feel like this one was worth it. And this Rooibos tea is one of those teas where I feel like you can actually use the tea bag a second time, sort of. At least maybe 1.5 times. It's good for like maybe a fill and a half. If you keep the tea bag in there, it'll supplement and give you more flavor when you put that second tea bag in there. So it's definitely a stronger tea than those other teas in terms of the reusability and in terms of the flavor you get. So definitely enjoy a good Rooibos tea. This is pumpkin spice here. Now inside here, I actually have a different type of Rooibos tea because I ran out of pumpkin spice Rooibos. This is currently full of the caramel Rooibos tea. You may or may not be familiar with that one. That one was available for a while actually on those Disney cruise trips. So on the Disney cruise, they had a variety of different types of tea, and those were Twinings teas, and they were nice, you know, sort of triangular teas. And I've noticed that both this one and the pumpkin spice both came in these little triangles. You'll notice it's a different type of tea bag than you might expect. The typical tea bag is sort of flat. It's like just a regular bag-shaped thing. But this triangle is really unique in that I guess it maybe contains more tea. I'm not 100% sure if it contains more tea. Maybe I'll actually look at the size here, the different ounces. But it looks like it actually doesn't. It doesn't contain any more ounces of tea than a regular type of tea bag, but it definitely has a stronger flavor to it. It's almost like a premium feel to it with that little triangle diamond shape. Not a diamond shape, but that triangular prism shape. And I find that really interesting how the Rooibos both have that triangle shape. But that Twinings caramel Rooibos tea is also a great one. I like the pumpkin spice for me even more. I definitely would personally prefer, because I love pumpkin. I love pumpkin spice flavors. I would go for pumpkin spice Rooibos over the caramel Rooibos, but I definitely enjoy the caramel as well. Definitely one of my go-to herbal teas. In my herbal tea review here, if I had to pick one herbal tea and recommend that, I would say Rooibos all the way. For me, I really do enjoy it. It depends what you like. If you like a darker tea, but at the same time not too much caffeine, I think Rooibos is definitely a good way to go. Now, I believe I mentioned in my herbal tea review that herbal teas are all caffeine-free. Moving on from my herbal tea review into my green tea review here, just want to give you an overall, just sort of a brief look at green teas and black teas and how they compare and what the difference is. So, green tea generally has about 25 milligrams of caffeine per serving, if I'm not mistaken. So that's about 1/4 of a cup of coffee. So if you're saying to yourself, okay, like, is this too much caffeine for me? It depends. Do you drink coffee? And if you do, then this is about 1/4 of that. So, or maybe 1/3 of that. So definitely something to keep in mind. It's a lot more mild than coffee. Green tea is good. I like green tea. It's kind of that mild middle ground between black tea and herbal tea. If you're looking for a little bit caffeine, but not too much in the morning, if I'm not too tired, but I still want some caffeine, I love herbal tea, or I like green tea. With honey and ginseng, honey, lemon, and ginseng, that's a classic way to get herbal tea, or green tea, excuse me, I keep saying herbal tea. And it's got some great flavors to it. A lot of different green tea is made with honey, lemon, and ginseng, and I think that's a great way to do it. So this one by Celestial Seasonings is a great one for green tea. There's a lot of great green tea options, and I'm trying some stash green teas right now as well. But this is just sort of a classic green tea if you're looking for a little bit of caffeine, but not too much. I just realized I left out of my herbal tea review some other types of herbal tea. Look at this throat coat right here. Throat coat for throat health, supports throat health. So there are also herbal teas like this medicinal tea right here, this seasonal teas herbal supplement, that are actually designed less so for the flavor, but actually specifically for certain benefits. So this one, it definitely requires steeping a lot longer than other types of tea, but it's really good for, again, coating your throat and making you feel like you've got more sort of protection there. If you feel like you're getting sick or that sort of thing, it can definitely create that layering that makes your throat feel better. So throat coat, another herbal tea there that I think it's definitely it's a strong licorice flavor to it. It's a sharper flavor, but it does its job. That's one I would get and I would drink if I felt like I needed it and I had that sort of issue. Throat coat really does make your throat feel a lot better. Now, continuing forward from my herbal tea review, I want to dive into some black teas, and that is, again, it's the most caffeinated version of tea. I kind of skipped over white teas. There aren't too many white teas, and you'll see this green tea that I reviewed earlier actually has white tea in it. and white tea is generally less caffeinated than green tea, so it's kind of a middle ground between green and herbal. But black tea here, we're diving into black tea, and I've got a couple different here that I want to talk to you about. We've got Stash Organics here, this breakfast blend. It's kind of like an English breakfast, so compare this to most types of English breakfast. It's very similar. I have been enjoying this flavor. Just got this one because I saw it was, oh, this looks very interesting. Let me give it a shot. And again, it does kind of remind me of an English breakfast. So this one, or English breakfast blend here by Stash. Both great flavors to them. It is I want to say, it's kind of like a smoother of a black tea. I think it's smoother. It's kind of more full of a black tea. There's also Earl Grey. I'm not as huge a fan of Earl Grey. I feel like it's more bitter, but at the same time, it's not quite as full in my perspective. Let me know your thoughts as well. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these teas, and do you agree with me? But I do like this as a black tea if you're looking for a strong hit of caffeine. If you don't drink coffee, but you want a lot of caffeine. For me, it's about half the caffeine of coffee. But for me, that's a lot of caffeine. So I drink this, and I like to put milk in this one. So this is a good way, and English breakfast as well. I like to put milk in there too. I feel like this one may even be more kind of coffee-ish, or more kind of heavy and more thick than an English breakfast, so especially more reason to put more milk in there. Just kind of add smoothness to that flavor, but I really do enjoy that, especially with a hint of milk in there. I like it. I'm trying to describe how much milk I like in there, and I like it looking definitely more milky than, for example, your coffee might look. You know, I personally make it look a little bit lighter than your coffee might look, because when you put the tea bag in there, it also looks lighter than your coffee might look, because it's tea, it's not coffee, and it's just kind of steeped in there by itself. So something to keep in mind there as well. Now, this is one of my all-time favorite black teas here, Twinings Black Tea, the Blackcurrant Breeze. And Twinings has a lot of great black teas that I really do enjoy. They also have another berry tea. It's like a mixed berry and all kinds of great teas. But one of my all-time favorite black teas here is this Twinings Black Tea Blackcurrant Breeze. And this is not a sponsored video, but I do enjoy this one. It's got some great fruity flavors in it, as well as that black tea flavor. So another black tea you could consider. So those are a couple black teas that I really do enjoy. And there's a lot of different types of teas I enjoy, from black teas to green teas to herbal teas. But wanted to take some time to dive into a couple of my favorites, give you a tea review here, a sort of thorough herbal tea review, and dive into some green tea review and some black tea review here as well. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this video. What do you think of hearing about my thoughts on teas? Would you like to hear more about specific types of tea, or the impacts of tea, or more in-depth look at different types of rooibos or black teas or green teas or other herbal teas? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks so much for being a part of the fun with me today. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. And if you haven't already, for more fun adventures, talking about different types of food and eating some food and going to theme parks and still figuring out all kinds of different fun adventures, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to stay informed. And thanks for being a part of it with me. Until next time, play on. This is the mango grapefruit, or the mango dragon fruit. Something to keep in mind is it definitely has a stronger tea than the other teas, right? It definitely has a stronger